Hi YouTube. Today I wanted to do just a quick video discussing eyebrows. I just wanted to go over a couple things because I think eyebrows are so important. In a couple years straight out of school I did work on a lot of eyebrows, and in that process I became obsessed with shaping people's eyebrows because I thought it made such a difference in the way it made their face look. I have always said and heard this before that eyebrows are like the frame of your face, and that they really make a difference when you shape them, proportion to your face, and color them to the right color of whatever your skin tone or hair color is. So a couple things. I'm sure everybody has heard or seen a tutorial regarding the measurements of what your brow shape should be. I'm going to go over that really quickly and then discuss how I feel about those measurements. So the first thing is that your eyebrows should start at the tear duct area of your eye. The arch is then supposed to be on the outer iris of your eye, if that makes sense. Basically, if you look straight ahead and place an object, something straight, at this end of your iris and put it straight up, that's where the highest part of your eyebrow should be. And then if you take it, put it at the very tip of your nose and outward to the corner of your brow, that's where your brow should end. Mine does not, because my eyebrows are not very thick and I don't have a lot to work with. So with that said, I think that those measurements are great. They are very proportionate to the way a brow should be shaped on your face. My reason for not always abiding by those measurements is that not everybody's brow shape measures up to those things, and you kind of have to work with whatever nature gave you. So what I mean by that is, in my case, I don't have a lot of eyebrows. I wish mine went a little bit longer. My arch actually starts a little bit further away from my iris, and I'm not going to be filling that in all the time. And if you just work with what your natural shape is, it's most likely going to best suit your face. You want to get as close to those measurements as you can, but if not, I don't want that to be, something that you stress about. Work with your natural shape, get close to those measurements. If they don't match up, don't worry about it. Your natural shape is always going to flatter your face best. The other thing I wanted to talk to you guys about is color. For everyday wear, I definitely suggest wearing whether you use a brow powder or a pencil, which I'll get into, you should always choose a shade lighter than what your brow color is. You never want your brows to look too harsh. You want them to look natural. It doesn't want to look like you're wearing product in your brows. And in order to do that, you always want to go a shade lighter than your brow color. It blends better, it looks more natural, and not so harsh on your skin. Now, that's for everyday wear. I have noticed, though, in photography, especially doing bridal makeup, which I've done a couple times in the past, you want your brows to stand out in a photo. And even though it may look differently in person with that really nice lighter shade color, it's not always going to show up in pictures. So you do tend to want to go a little bit heavier than what you normally would as far as filling in your brows, whether it's just a little bit darker of a color or just filling them in a little bit more heavy, just so that it stands out a little bit better in photographs. The other thing that I wanted to mention is that I feel like, I don't know if it's this generation or what, but we tend to all really overpluck our brows. I think that thin brows are not really flattering to everyone. I know that there's some people that really like the way that it looks, and I'm not knocking that. This is just my opinion on what looks best on a woman. I think a thicker brow is really beautiful. I have a couple pictures that I found in just a magazine to give you guys an example of what I'm talking about. The first one, she's just a makeup model. Look at her brow. That to me is just a perfect brow, and it's the perfect thickness. You don't see such a significant difference in how thin the brow is at the arch. It all kind of resembles the same thickness. Now she's lucky in the sense that she has her own natural arch. I'm trying to point at it, but I can't. There. See how her arch is kind of natural out here, where most people tend to pluck right in here and thin that out. I love how it stays thick throughout the arch and even into the ends. That's such a flattering brow shape. The other picture I have is Miss Katie Holmes. I love her eyebrows. I think they're beautiful. I'm so jealous. Sometimes I wish I was a brunette just so I could have darker brows, but you can get the general shape that I'm talking about, that there's not a significant difference in how thin you are out here and to here. It all kind of stays the general thickness, but you only tweeze to get that shape. You don't want to have a significant difference in how thin you are out here versus how thick you are out here. It just doesn't look natural. If you look at most runway models, they do have thicker brows. If you ever look at the makeup models, when you see professional makeup artists working on them, they tend to choose models with thicker brows because makeup artists love a thick brow. And I do as well. I think it just looks more natural. It looks more defined over the eye, and I like it. So those are my couple things that I wanted to discuss. The one last thing I wanted to make sure I went over is brow powder versus a brow pencil, and why certain people use one and why certain people use another. I use a brow powder because my hair is so light naturally that a pencil tends to just look a little bit too harsh for me. The only time I use a pencil is to fill in something that I've over tweezed or over trimmed, which happens occasionally. But you need to have hair and enough of it to really hold onto that brow powder. So if you have, even if it's light hair, if you have hair there and you just want to fill in the color to get that general shape, and a powder would be perfect for you. But if you have really scarce or sparse hair, whether it's dark or blonde, that powder's not going to really have anything to attach itself to. So I would recommend using a pencil, definitely, like I said, a shade lighter than your natural brow color. And I'm going to just do a quick little demonstration now. I think you should be applying this pencil so that it looks more natural. I actually used a pencil today on one of my brows that I over trimmed, so I'll do just a little example for you guys. When you're using a pencil, it's a Maybelline Expert Eyes pencil in who knows what color, oh, it's in blonde. When you're using a pencil, you never want to put it directly on the skin head on like this, like you would, with a writing pencil. I always like to approach my brow at an angle, and when you're applying it, here's my little area that I over trimmed right here, kind of feather it in, like so. I'm just barely letting it touch my skin where I need it and feathering it on. You never want to press too hard or, push it into the skin and draw a line. It's going to look fake. It's going to look harsh. You don't want anybody to know you're drawing your eyebrows on. I know we've all seen those women that look like they literally have taken a marker and drawn their brows on, and that's not what we're looking for. So again, when you're using a pencil, don't press it into your skin really hard. Just lay it against your skin and just feather it. Feather it in there. And what you can even do this is get one of those little brow groomers, and once you've got the pencil in there, just kind of brush your hair into it and blend it into your skin, and that also will make it look a little bit more natural. Hopefully these tips were helpful for you guys. I know that everybody's going to have their own opinion about what the best way to shape your brow is and what to use, and I'm not knocking any of that. This is just what I've experienced works for me, what I've experienced works for other people, and working in this industry and working with other people's brows. So if this isn't helpful for you, I'm sorry, but hopefully this can help one person who goes out and gets a brow powder and comes back and uses it and loves it. That's my goal. So I'm not sure what tutorial or review I'll be doing next, but I will take any requests that you guys have into consideration, and hopefully I'll be seeing you guys soon. So until then,